wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Jazakallah khair, good question, bro. Brother Umar has actually handed me that because I work quite heavily with IERA. So based on your first question was, what's the limitations of a da'wah table? Well, IERA, I'm going to refer back to some research that they've actually done, and this is quite heavily in depth based on the perception of Muslims. Now everybody here is sat here going, Dr. Zakir Naik is sat there on the table and everybody has Sky TV, so it's okay, we can watch him and learn. Actually, no. It's quite interesting to see that Muslims will watch Dr. Zakir Naik and Muslims will watch Islam Channel, Peace TV, and all the other channels as well. But non-Muslims won't. In fact, what they've done is they got white indigenous English people, they use the word indigenous, I don't know why, white indigenous English people, shirts, ties, and they actually went to, I think, 5 or 6 major cities across the UK to get a perception of Islam. Now, if I were to say to you, I'd like this because I'm going to open the floor inshallah, is who is Muhammad was one of the questions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now this was not this was like one of those sort of, I believe it was a checkbox question. What do you think came out as the top answer? Now this is white indigenous people, shirts and ties, approaching white indigenous people in the streets, so that it doesn't look like we've got a proper perception. I mean, if you got me or Umar out there in our thobes doing the surveying, obviously you're going to turn around and say, what do you think of Muslims? Oh, they're great, yeah, see you later. And they're going to be running a mile. But if you get white indigenous people to actually do it, they're thinking, okay, these guys are obviously trying to get outreach on here. I'm going to ask you, inshallah, brothers, who is Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, according to this research?
God.
God. Anyone else?
Prophet.
Prophet. Anything else? Come on, you can give me more than 2 answers. Okay, alhamdulillah. Well, actually, would you believe, bro, that, alhamdulillah, brother got it right, that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is God in Islam? Now you tell me, somebody now explain that to me. If we are out there and we've got so much internet facility, people are not going out to research it. And this is our problem, is that we are not on the outreach. For example, the Jehovah's Witnesses actually said to, and I was with Abdurrahim Green a few weeks ago, he goes, if Islam was so right, then, and you believe that you were on the truth, then you would be going door to door telling people about your message and telling them that it's the truth. And this is what they do. And they are doing that. So based on that, this is an opportunity. The Dawah Stall is a tool for people to approach us and to ask the questions that are burning in the media. For example, somebody walking past, they might not see us one week, or they might just have a burning question. They look it up and they get some form of a random answer from who knows what organization. But then when you've got real Muslims standing there, for example, one of the questions that we were asked a few weeks ago was, don't you believe that... what was the question that we jumped at? That the Prophet ﷺ was made from light. And about 3 of us actually sort of jumped nearly about a mile in the air and said, no! And this is the perception that people are getting. These are the answers that people are getting. And this is an opportunity for non-Muslims to approach us on a face-to-face level. Let me ask you another question now. How many of you, when you need technical support on a phone, on a fridge, on a telephone, on a computer, are happy to go online, or when you're buying a contract of a mobile phone, online, and buy it? Raise your hands for me. Wow, 3 people, subhanAllah. Okay, how many of you actually prefer to go to a shop or go and speak to somebody online where you have one of these Indian call centers and somebody is actually telling you the real answers to your bank account, to a mobile phone, to a contract? How many of you there now? Still 2. Okay, 3. Interesting, because that means that none of you actually call technical support lines, or you never called your bank before. Is that right? Raise your hands. Oh, so now we're getting into another realm here. This is what I'm saying. It's an opportunity.
I think the issue is the India connection.
The India connection, yeah, it is, isn't it? They don't like that. Yeah, the brother just said that it's India connection. The up north call centers. I don't understand what they say. But you're right. So based on that, it's an opportunity just for anybody to actually approach us on an open scale. And so the limitation, that has gone. I'm going to move on to the next point, inshallah. Does that answer your question? Yeah, okay, jazakallah. Next point, IDCI. A lot of the leaflets and the information has actually come from IERA-based stuff. Now you can imagine that IERA is actually an organisation, Islamic Education Research Academy, that are based around introducing the idea of Islam to non-Muslims. Nothing else. And the whole idea is we do use Discover Islam material and we use IDCI material. It's a lot of stuff which high scholars and doctors within Islam have actually written about, it's basic stuff. It doesn't go into really in-depth stuff where you're looking at it and you're going, whoa, what does this say? It doesn't go into any specific sect either. It's a general overview, and in actual fact, the one reason stuff that IRA use is based to ask more questions, because once you have a question, you read the answer to it, but that answer leads to another question, and that's how we improve our knowledge as well, inshallah. So that's the one on the media.
Christian group that came here a couple of weeks back, they did have this misconception about the Prophet Muhammad being someone we worship as well. One question that you mentioned at the end was possible involvement of sisters, and also possible involvement of converts who've actually come to Islam as well. With regards to the second question about the people who've come into Islam, unfortunately the demographics of this particular part of Redbridge is that most of the people who come to the masjid are from the Indian subcontinent. That's something that we're trying to get over, inshallah. We want to keep it within people that we know. Obviously, we have to keep it within regulations. So, inshallah, absolutely, I think we'll keep it, a target that, inshallah, by the end of the year, hopefully each one of us will have, brought someone to Islam. Inshallah, they can be the next ones to actually take over. With regards to sisters, this is something in the pipelines, inshallah. We're trying to work on that at the moment as well. So we'll keep you posted about that, inshallah. If there's any other questions, we'll take. We've got. Okay, the brother's asking, do we find that we're always on the back foot, having to defend ourselves rather than having the opportunity to actually talk about our faith? I think in just sort of 30 seconds, I'll hand it over to one of the other brothers who hasn't spoken yet.
Yeah, go on. I think the little role play that these two brothers did is a perfect example of what we try and do. A lot of people come across, they have their misconceptions, they have their ideas, and as Umar spoke about his experience last week, we really try and take it back to what we believe in. I mean, last week the woman was very angry. She had her issues. She went to let off a bit of steam, but at the end of it all, we said to her, what we really want you to do is to look into the faith. You've got a lot of ideas which are wrong. But we want you to look into the faith, see what it's all about, look at what we believe in, and take it from there. So we give them materials and we try to talk to them about what we believe in, just like how Brother Jamil presented to Suleiman, belief in Allah, revelation and prophethood. That's what we try and relate to.
What was actually based from the brother was how can we get involved, and what other activities actually taking place within the masjid, and who can be invited to it. Over to you, Saul, inshallah.
Just go for it in a nutshell, inshallah. But basically, to get involved with the dawah, so like he said before, there's a procedure. Everybody has to go through like a scanning process and whatnot to basically get in. And other activities is just generally we have our Saturday halaqahs every week. Every monthly we have a Sunday halaqah, inshallah, like a bigger halaqah, and we have a football session for youngers on the Saturdays from 12 to 2, and for the elders from 4 to 6, and Thursdays we have a youth club after Isha from 8 to 10 at Frankfurt Youth Centre.
I want to say that the real purpose of us being here was actually to motivate everyone here to actually taking up the role themselves, inshallah. So I hope that you think about that and actually try and do something, whether it's through the Dawah Stall or through your own personal experiences. Jazakumullah khairan everyone for coming.